Welcome to Tales from the Rail. We are upfront. We are unfiltered. We are unforgettable. I'm Chad.
I'm Greg. We're a podcast for rock and roll fans, by fans, for fans, and about the fans.
So today we wanted to talk about before there were apps, before there were pre-sale codes, before there were QR codes. This is how we got into shows. So I wanted to talk through some eras because you've been going to concerts since when, Greg?
My first one was 1980.
1980.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to go all the way back to 1980, and then we're going to bring it to the present. So just like there are eras of music, there was eras of how to get into concerts.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think some of the younger listeners realize the struggle that we had to go to just to get to a show.
No, getting to the place to get a ticket was just as trying as and challenging as it was to get to the show itself. So.
Cool. So I got some notes today. I'm gonna be a little unprofessional and taking some notes from my phone.
All right.
But let's start from 75 to 85. And I called this era in person or nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you got tickets either at a physical box office,
yep,
a local record store, or mail order form. So talk a little bit about your experience, because I wasn't going to concerts yet. My first concert was 1993. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, I never got a concert ticket from a mail order form.
So we can scratch that off. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I never got them that way.
Though that was like cash or money orders. You'd send it in and you get tickets in the mail.
Yeah, you could do that.
So you never went that route.
No, I never went that route.
So let's talk about at the box office and at the record store.
At the box office. So first thing was the record store. That was I remember, I think it was Sun Records. That was one of the outlets. When I was, rural Kentucky, and
you
were the mall,
rural Kentucky. Sun Records is in Kentucky.
We had an old mall that had a Sun Records in it, and they were an outlet, but they didn't sell tickets to every location that I wanted to go to. I mean, they pretty much stayed local. If you went into Cape Girardeau, Missouri, if you went into the concert, my first concert at Murray State University, got tickets there, or pretty much. I would say about 100 miles away.
The local record stores just had local shows.
Yeah, they had to be about 100 miles away or less.
So you grew up in an area that Nashville was 2 hours away, St. Louis was 2 hours away, Evansville was 2 hours away.
Memphis, Evansville, 2 hours away. Those were the four big places. But you could go to some places like Southeast Missouri.
Yeah.
And Cape Girardeau, and they had a couple of venues that you could buy tickets to, and like the one at Murray, and then the one, let's see, there was one, Carbondale, Illinois, SIU campus. I saw a couple shows at SIU. So those kind of venues, they were close enough that I could get tickets at the record store. At the record store. Cool. And they were physical tickets. These tickets were already printed.
Were already printed.
The amount of tickets were already allotted to Sun Records. So that was my closest ticket outlet was Sun Records. So if I wanted to go buy a ticket to the concert, I had to get to Sun Records when they went on sale before they sold out of their allotment. Because when you got there,
they're already printed, rubber banded. One dude had control of them all.
One dude standing behind the counter. And he's got a stack of freaking tickets. And when it was time to go on sale, he pulled them out from the cabinet.
Dude had to feel like King Kong at the time.
King. And don't think for 1 minute.
King ding-a-ling.
Don't think for 1 minute, since he had them in advance, that he didn't pull out the freaking
few that he wanted first.
He wanted, right? And his friends, they got them.
But here's what I want them to understand. These are all general admission tickets. You're not sitting in section 101, row 5, CS. This is general admission.
So if your buddy worked at Sun Records, you didn't have to go down there like I did and stand in line.
So I didn't have any friends with this dude.
I needed to meet this. So you went down there.
I would be bribing him with like beer and pot and whatever other substances I could to be best friends with that guy.
Exactly. Because he had the tickets in his hand. So I'm sure he pulled out for him and his buddies, and he put those back. But then people like me
then overcharge you guys a little bit to make up for
I've got to get
friends.
there when they go on sale. So I've got to stand in line in the mall outside of freaking Sun Records when they open, so I can buy tickets
So
to go to
Sun
the
Records
show.
was in the mall.
Sun Records is in the mall.
So you
go
had
in
to
the mall.
stand outside of the mall doors before the
Well,
mall
we're in the
opened.
mall. You know, you're standing in the mall.
Got it.
And all the stores have those roll-up cage
Yep.
things. So you're standing in the mall. You're lined up outside the cage that they got to roll up. So they roll it up, open up Sun Records. You go in there, you buy your tickets. And I mean, he pulls out a freaking wad of tickets and they're all banded up in a rubber band. And so you stand there and you tell him how many tickets you want and you get them and you pay him for them. And so everything was cash for me.
Everything was cash.
Yeah, you bought cash. I didn't have a credit card. I was freaking 15, 16 years old.
So now the shows, right?
Card.
Then you clear how they got into shows. That's local though, right?
That's local.
So now
That's
let's say
local.
there's shows in Nashville that you wanted to go. How would you get tickets?
Okay, well, you either had to drive to Nashville or drive to the local ticket outlet that would sell them for Nashville. So if I wanted to go to Nashville, then I think the closest was Clarksville, which was about halfway for me.
So that's an hour drive each way.
So yeah. So I'm driving an hour to Clarksville.
So you're going on a road trip. Check it out.
Just to
You're
get
going on a
tickets.
road trip just to get tickets.
Just to get the tickets.
Right.
So you could either go to the ticket outlet. If I wanted to go to Nashville, I would go to Clarksville, or I could drive all the way to Nashville and go to the box office and get them at the box office. So here's your dilemma. Do I make it to Clarksville in time to get a ticket to the show before they run out of their allotment? Or do I take the drive to Nashville because I know they're going to have more tickets there? So do I take the chance or do I just drive? Because the tickets go on sale at the same time.
Right.
They go on sale in Clarksville the same time they go on sale in Nashville. So if I go to Clarksville and they sell out before I get one, and then I jump in my car and I want to drive to Nashville, well, they might sell out of their allotment before I can get there.
So it was
that's
a
another
gamble
hour
no matter
away.
where you went.
It's a gamble. So I could do that. I could.
So what would you usually do?
It depended on who it was. If it was somebody that I really, 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 really wanted to see, I would take the drive to Nashville. Or St. Louis. I would drive to St. Louis and go get a ticket at the box office. Or I would go to the Ticketmaster, or not, whatever promotion it was, had their outlet. So you would go to their outlet, buy the ticket, and I would take that chance if it was somebody who's like, well, I really want to see them, but if I don't, it's not a heartbreaker.
So what I said during this era is, hey, if you got tickets, you earned them by showing up.
You earned them. Yeah, you earned them. And you already had money invested.
And that was part of the victory of the hard work that it went in to get a show. That's what you kids don't understand now. And that's, candidly, I think that's why me and you collect the old tickets, the paper
I have every
tickets.
ticket stub. I've got them all.
Because it was so much work. And when I look at those tickets, I just don't think
they're artwork. You should see the tickets from the 70s and 80s. They're like a piece of art.
Yeah, and we'll flash up some examples so you guys can see. But it's not just the artwork to me. It's not just the ticket. It's the memory of what the work I had to go through and who I went through it with to get the ticket. Yeah. And because for me, there was times that was right at the end of me getting tickets. That's how we got our first tickets to Metallica Guns N' Roses show, right? But there was 3 of us that got the tickets, and one of the kids couldn't go. So sometimes there'd be people that fell off, and there's casualties, and you'd be out in front of the venue selling that ticket, scalping that ticket.
And then you've got the other dilemma of, do the tickets go on sale when I'm at work? I mean, if I have a job, if I've got to go to work and the tickets go on sale, who's going to go get my ticket?
Yeah.
So then you got your buddies together and you're like, well, who's not working? Who can be off? Who can go get them? It's like, so you got to pool your money. You got to give them money in advance. And if I couldn't go and I had to pay somebody else to go get my ticket for me, I had to throw him a freaking $5 for gas too. I mean,
I need gas money. I need a little extra juice for going to do this for you.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I had to toss him a $5.
If you got a ticket, you earned the ticket.
Yeah.
Hey, lines were part of the experience, not just for the concert, but to get the tickets.
I mean, you got in line. There was a line of people ready to get a ticket. So you were standing in line, and you're telling, and just like when you're telling stories at the concert and you're telling stories in line to go see the show, you're telling stories in line when you're
hey, this is another new band I'm listening to right now. Go check them out. Like, this was the community, and this was how it built.
Yeah.
And if you missed the line, you missed the show.
You missed the show.
So
you get the line, you missed the show.
So to me, the culture back then was community driven, word of mouth, flyers on telephones. You remember the
Oh,
flyers on the
yeah.
telephones
Yep.
that this show was
And
going to
those were
be
more in
there?
big cities. I mean, if you went to the city and the venue was there, like when you go to show in Nashville or St. Louis or Evansville, once you got into the city, then you would start seeing flyers
Yep.
in the show. Other than that, the only flyers they would put up would be at the places where you bought the tickets at the outlets
Yeah.
places. They might have a poster, they might have a flyer or something like that there. But other than that, they were all, in the city that the venue was in or at the venue or at the Ticketmaster location,
So,
wherever you bought the ticket.
we'll get to Ticketmaster second. So
Yeah.
some 75 to 85, you got a ticket, you earned it.
You earned it.
Right?
You had money and time involved in the ticket itself, but it was super cool because you built your library.
Yep.
And you met people and you start talking about other bands.
Other
You're
bands.
building your library and you're building your community.
That's where I would trade tapes, right?
Yes.
So now let's talk about my era. This is when I started coming in a little bit, right? I called it 85 to 95, phone calls and early ticketing companies, right?
Yeah.
So how you got tickets back then, there were call centers.
Yep.
Sometimes you could use credit card. I was too young. I didn't have a credit card
No, I
then.
didn't
Neither
either.
of us did.
And you could call the box office direct,
You
too.
could call about, and I'll get that second. This is early Ticketmaster,
Yeah.
right? And there were still some box office sales, so sometimes
Yeah.
you still went. What it meant was busy signals, redialing for
Yes.
hours, landlines with big long cords. I had a big landline with a big long cord. I would sit on the phone for hours to get tickets to these shows, and whoever had the fastest fingers won.
Yes.
Right? So talk a little bit about your experience from them, and then I'll share some of mine during that era.
Yeah, so I didn't have a credit card either.
Mhm.
I mean, I was in my early 20s. I was working at the time. I didn't go to college. I come from the school of hard knocks, and experience mattered back then. It doesn't matter as much anymore. You have to have an education. But anyway, so I was working, but I didn't have a credit card yet. So I was lucky enough to have a friend that had a credit card. So he would call the box office, or he would call the 1-800 number, or wherever the outlet was. We would pay him cash.
This is pre-internet, by the way.
No, there's no
only
internet.
phone.
We're still not doing internet. We're still on the phone.
Yep.
And so, yeah, you call your buddy with the credit card. He gives him their credit card number over the phone, but he's sitting there dialing the number, waiting for the busy, fighting through the busy signals. A lot of busy signals back then. Even though it's a 1-800 number, it's a call center, but there weren't very many people working.
Yeah,
it.
there's
So you still got
15 to 20 call agents. I think of I
Yeah.
had a friend that worked in one. They're like, there were 15 to 20 of us.
And
And
you got
whenever the lines were busy, You
Click.
kept calling until you got through, right?
yes, you kept calling till you got
So
through.
imagine like now you refresh your internet, right? Or you have a device that does that for you. Before, and I had a big roto phone, I had to dial, and then you'd mess up the
Yep.
number, like shit, I got to start over, right?
Yes.
Then you'd have to start the number
Yeah,
over.
no push button phones.
Yeah. Well,
For
that
me,
might have been came in that area, but I didn't have
I didn't
them.
have one. I had a rotary phone.
Yeah, I had a rotary phone. So you'd literally go to a 9 and it'd go click, 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 and you'd let it go and and then if you messed up, you're like, damn it, I got to start over.
Yeah, and these are 1-800 numbers.
These
They
are
got 11 digits.
numbers, so yeah, it's not just a couple digits. Still a fairish culture. It was just like random luck of the draw of who
Yeah.
got through, right?
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more random and not as earned, more luck because you weren't standing in line, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was still, I don't want to get this wrong. So this is when I started getting tickets. We had a local Sears that had a Ticketmaster in it. So they would announce when the tickets would be released. And that was the center, kind of like you mentioned during the record store.
Yeah.
That was my experience of getting tickets, right? And there was a local record store that had them too, but I usually went to the Sears and the Ticketmaster, right? So
Yep.
we would stay in line. So mine was either call on the phone or wait in line at Ticketmaster because
Exactly.
Ticketmaster was just starting off. So
Yep.
I put the culture during this time was fairish, no bots, no resale algorithms, frustrating but human,
Yes.
right? So then we get into 1995 to 2005. This is the internet era arrives, right? There was still call-ins,
Yeah.
right?
Dial-up was slow.
But dial-up
better off-
internet was
You'd
slow.
be better off just using your phone.
You'd be better off using your phone, probably quicker, right? There were early online queues. It was print at home tickets. We'll show
Yep.
an example of that. And there was still phone in and still box office backups. So you
Yep.
kind of had a few extra tools. The internet was just kind of coming about, but it didn't work great. So I remember having internet for the first time, probably about 97, 98. I would be on the phone over here and I'd be online over here and I'd be using both. How did you get
Yeah,
tickets
the
during
sa the
this?
same for me. I mean, uh, the great thing about once we got into the point where we could call the 1-800 number or we could call the box office and do it that way is if you did have to work, you didn't have to worry about missing the opportunity to go get the ticket. It's like, you know what? Tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock. If I'm at work, I'm going to take my break at 10 o'clock and I'm going to go hit the internet and I'm going
Right.
to go and I'll make the phone call and I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and call in and get the tickets, do it that way. So
Yeah.
the phone, the 1-800 numbers, they made it a little easier and the internet made it a lot easier. So you didn't have to rely on your friends to go get tickets for
Yeah.
you. You could get them yourself, but you still ran into the same problems. I mean, you still.
I got fired from a detasseling job because I went to Ticketmaster and the line was way longer than I thought, and I had a buddy covered, and I was gonna get those tickets to that show, and I did get them, but I did lose my detasseling job. So what this meant during this time, and you just share any of your experiences: pages crashing, refresh wars, slow connections,
Yes.
and you felt tech savvy if you could actually get an online ticket.
Yeah, and when by that time, for me, I had a credit card by then. I mean, it's still if you want it on the
Yep.
internet, you couldn't get a ticket without a credit card because they weren't taking cash on the internet. So you had to. I had luck. Had a credit card by then. My career was going. I was working in the food industry back then. I was a manager of a few restaurants, and so I had a credit card by then, and so I could get my tickets online. And but
Yeah.
still, I mean, yeah, crashed pages. Ticketmaster was notorious for
Crashing
Oh
all
my
the
god, it
time.
would
Like there was
always
a big
crash.
show. If you had a
It's
Metallica
terrible.
show or Megadeth show, Iron Maiden show, any of those big metal bands, they would crash
All
every
the
time.
time. Yeah, and there was no Live Nation. I mean, Ticketmaster had the monopoly.
It was a monopoly.
It was a monopoly. There
But
was
here
no
was the
other
cool
options.
part is it was fans beating fans. There was
Yeah.
no resale market. There was no
No.
secondary market. You didn't have StubHub. You had ticket brokers that you could get things through secondary, but they were going through the same stuff
They're
as
going through
you,
the same stuff as
right?
you.
So they might get a few
Yeah.
tickets and go and sell them, right? But they didn't have
Yeah.
100 tickets.
Yeah, scalping's been around ever since tickets
Tickets
have been for
have
sale,
existed,
but it
right?
wasn't as big as it is now. I mean,
Yeah. And they didn't
it
gouge you.
they
It
didn't
was all a
gouge you.
negotiation,
Yeah.
right?
I'd say 95% of the time, if you saw somebody outside selling a ticket, it's because their buddy didn't show up. Or
Exactly.
he couldn't
Like me.
make the show. Like, I've got an extra ticket, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like you see now where there's a guy outside with, it looks like a freaking Chinese fan. He's got so many tickets in his hand, he's
Yeah.
trying to sell. It wasn't like that back
Wasn't
then.
like that. So
No.
now we go into 2005 to 2015. There's pre-sales, there's passwords, there's resales, right?
Yeah.
This is when all the margin and the issues we deal with now of tickets going, the Taylor Swift tickets going for $5,000. We've noticed a few Metallica tickets on the M72 tour. That's now in 2025. But
Yeah.
that whole era of what's going on now, it started during this area.
That's when we got introduced to the queue.
The queue.
You
Yep.
go in and get your tickets online and you get there got your websites pulled up 15 minutes early, you're
Yep.
hitting refresh and 11 o'clock rolls around and you hit refresh and you've now been entered into the queue. There are 4,715 people ahead of you in
somehow.
the queue.
Like I came on right at 11.
I refreshed right at 11 and there's 4,000 people in front of me.
So
It's like, how does that happen?
how you got tickets?
And if you're out there and you know how to get in the front of the queue, please let us know. I want to know how to get in the front
please comment
of
below.
the queue. Comment below. I want to know how to do that.
So all of our listeners can get in the queue first. So
yeah.
I said, hey, during this time you got tickets through artist pre-sales.
Yep.
This is the era of the credit cards pre-sales,
Yep.
right? Which still exists. Fan clubs, which is how me and you still
Fan
get a
club
lot
pre-sales,
of tickets.
artist pre-sales.
Yep. And then resale platforms. This is when
Yeah.
the resale
StubHubs
platforms.
and the
Yep.
all that.
So what it
came
meant
about.
is if you didn't have codes, you paid more. So
Well, if you didn't have codes, you might not get a ticket.
you might not get.
So you get the pre-sale code. So there's only a few of them available with the pre-sale code. But if you get the pre-sale code, at least you've got 2 chances to get a ticket. So if you don't get one for the pre-sale, then you can go on the general the general sale day 2 days later and try to get a ticket then. And if you get them, they're gonna be the same price if
Right.
you're lucky enough to get them. But the presale code gives you more than one opportunity to buy a ticket, which, I mean, and I'm pretty good at getting presale
Yeah,
codes.
how have you been so good? Give some tips on presale codes 'cause you're who
Uh,
I always go to.
a lot of the fan clubs are free.
Yeah,
So, I mean, there's some bands that charge to be, in
in
the
the
fan
fan
club,
club.
but,
Yeah,
still some of them are free, and if you spend enough money with Ticketmaster and you follow their if you follow their, Ticketmaster on social media, if you do that kinda stuff, and, they see that, I mean, they've got their algorithms too, they know who's following them and who doesn't.
yeah.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to have some presale codes thrown in my feed. I've had some presale codes emailed to me. So, I mean, if there's ticket places out there and you want to follow them on social media and do that kind of stuff, if you're very active, I buy a lot of tickets. So, I mean, even the tickets to the shows we go through, Chad's usually working, I'm retired, so I'll buy the tickets
Yep.
and we'll do it that way. But so, I mean, I've gotten presale codes that way. I buy a lot of tickets. So,
I said this is the area where if you didn't have codes, you definitely paid more.
yeah,
Um,
if you
tick
weren't, if you didn't get them on the general sale day,
Yeah. Tickets disappear the day of, release,
yep,
right? If you have a good show, if you don't get them that day, you're paying secondary
you're
market.
going to StubHub or SeatGeek or something like
And this
that.
is the time where the secondary market exploded.
Yeah,
Right?
yep.
I
I mean,
felt the
it's
culture kinda shifted from fans versus the system. This is when the system was really created,
yeah,
right? The system that we hate now, the system, I love Kid Rock trying to fight the system
yeah.
and, Trump passed that order, and, there just seems to be they're trying to change the way it's
Yeah,
done.
when you're fighting on the phone with somebody, you're fighting against another fan back in the '90s,
Yep.
'80s and '90s, but when you're fighting on the internet now, you're fighting, ticket brokers and you're fighting secondary market people, and it kinda sucks for the fan because,
Yep.
I mean,
This is when the resentment against the system
this is
started.
where it starts, yeah, and we're just trying to get tickets, we wanna go to the show.
Yeah.
We wanna go.
We ain't trying to make money.
We ain't trying to make
We're
money,
just trying to get good
we're
seats and
trying
go
to
to the
get a seat.
show and
Exactly.
make sure we don't have to pay an arm and a leg to do it.
Yeah,
So now let's move into the current era, 2015 to 2025. There's apps, there's bots, there's dynamic pricing. This is
yeah.
the era of the mobile apps. This is the verified fan systems. This is the dynamic pricing. This is the digital only tickets, which we hate.
Yeah, hate
Um,
hate digital tickets.
this is instant resale markups, right? Which has got me a couple times.
Yes.
Be aware, be clear. Just because you have a pre-sale doesn't mean you're getting pre-sale price. I got
Right.
caught on a concert here last year where I'm in on the pre-sale offer, and I think I'm buying pre-sale tickets, and I come to find out that it was a secondary market markup price
Yeah,
during the pre-sale offer. I'm like, how did so someone comes in, gets them, reposts them at secondary market
yeah,
prices, and I end up paying secondary market prices thinking I'm in the presale price. So
yeah.
be cautious of that. So um what it means to me is bots are beating humans, prices change in real life, loyalty, um, loyalty does not equal affordability, and you might get in at face value, you might not.
Yeah, you might or you might not. I mean, the best way to do it, is get the presale code from the fan club. So at least when you're going as a fan club presale,
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta pay for the fan club, sometimes you don't, but most of the 99% of those people, they're fans and they wanna go see the show.
Yep. Where do you usually find that one of our favorite artists is going on tour and they're going to be releasing tickets? Do you have any places that you go to that
Their social media sites are the best
their
ones
social
right
media
now.
sites? Yep.
Yeah, their Instagrams and their, Facebook still, but their Instagram page and those kind of places, that's where they'll announce their tours. That's where they get to you get if you're lucky enough to get a presale code, you'll get it from there. But
Yep.
their social media pages are freaking phenomenal now. So the bands do a real good job with the social media because they're not doing it; they're paying somebody to do it, so they're doing a good job.
So I call this culture in this era convenience over connection, less magic, more math, and fans feel like customers, not community, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're really trying to build here as a community. So talk about, please comment below some of your favorite stories of getting tickets in any of these areas, some of the adversity you had to overcome, some of the best memories of waiting in line. We would love to hear your story. And share some of your experience of getting tickets. And if you got any tips and tactics for our community of how you can get into your concerts, how you can get pre-sales, what you do to look out for your favorite concerts. We want to hear the memories. We want to hear the tips. We want to hear the tactics. So please like, please subscribe, please share. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple. We want to grow this community. And most importantly, we want to hear your memories. Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I those are the best memories. Going to the show, getting the tickets to go to the show, the stories that the friends that you make, the people you meet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all a part of the whole experience
Yeah.
is the tickets, it's not as much anymore when you're sitting at home and you're pounding on a keyboard. It's not as exciting, but once you get to the show, you still want to tell those
And
stories. And
if
you
you
still
got
want to live it.
if you got a collection of ticket stubs, please take a picture, put them in the comments.
Yes,
We would
love to
love to
see
see them.
those.
I love seeing nostalgic old ticket
Yep,
stubs.
love to see those.
So please share that. And please share our episode, and we appreciate you tuning in.
That's right.